Back with the milk. It's chocolate. Many of you are watching, and like myself, you haven't played Eternal Return in the last year or two. And I set out to see what's new with the game, and if now is the time to return. Also, if you're wondering what I've been up to for the last year and a half, I've got updates at the end of the video. But let's talk about the season. Season 10 is another Bunny Girl season, and with this season, they introduced many new things. The biggest thing they introduced was a collab with Persona. For those who don't know, Eternal Return has been doing collabs with other brands as their way of marketing, and it seems to have been working. I previously made a video on whether Eternal Return is dead or not, and obviously it is not going that way right now if you look at the Steam charts. Of course, most of these players are in Korea, but you can see a lot of people love these collabs, and it's safe to say if you like them, they're going to continue. In the previous season, they did a Guilty Gear collab. Personally, I didn't love Guilty Gear when I played it, so I don't have a huge attachment, and I haven't played Persona either. So me, being a fake gamer, doesn't have a strong opinion. And when you say, what is this collab? Well, it's pretty much just skins. It's cosmetics. Some of the Eternal Return characters now look like some of the Persona characters. And I always thought this was interesting because in the past they said they wouldn't change characters to make them indistinguishable from their original self. That was always with the pushback to why can't they make a skinny Zyukai? But as you can see, they've made young Martina, and now with these collab skins, I think they have done away with that way of thinking. Anyways, enough yapping. What else did they add? Lore. So of course you have the whole achievement system that gives you tidbits of lore here and there. As someone who made a lore video in the past, I feel like I'm pretty well equipped to have this conversation. And that brings me to what I am most excited for, is the lore stories that they added. This has been on the roadmap for a while, and I was really excited to see they added it. The first one that they added focuses around Hunwoo, and it's interesting. Essentially, it is explaining the whole concept of what Eternal Return is, what the experiment is, and what they're doing on the island. But Hunwoo is gaining his memories back. So as everyone forgets experiment to experiment, he is starting to remember. And I think this is a compelling story. Of course, it is told through this like PNG text format rather than an animation, but I think you can tell a compelling story with this format, as something like Doki Doki Literature Club has shown. Crazy poll, I know. And I found myself genuinely interested in this story. Of course, there were moments that took me out of it, like when they all die in this tragic moment, and then you hear the splat noises that are used in the game.
I guess this is the end. Yanu, I'm sorry.
But I think this is worth your time. It's only 40 minutes if you press autoplay and just let it go. Then there's actually another story, and this is the Bunny Girl story. You have to pay 7,000 A-coin to get into it, but you recoup that A-coin because you get 1,000 for every episode you watch, so it's a wash. Anyways, this story was not nearly as compelling to me. It was kind of more of like a side episode. It was fun. We got to know some of the characters more, and I could see if you're new to the game, this could be a great way to get to know part of the cast. My only thing is this is obviously set in like some type of alternate timeline because no one is dying on this island. It is a strong shift in tone from the first story to this one. But that's fine. Again, it wasn't really for me. This one was about an hour 20, hour 10 if you just leave it on autoplay. So it's a good chunk of content. And I think this is a good transition while we're talking about the bunny girl stuff. Yes, in that story, there were sexual moments or over-sexualized parts.
We were supposed to do pole dancing, but we already had to downgrade to simple choreography thanks to you two and your stamina.
And I think this is a trend in the gaming industry and not just an Eternal Return thing, but most season passes are going to be over-sexualized because that's what sells. But with that being said, if that is a big turnoff for you, no pun intended, there are skins that they're releasing that aren't in that season pass that are really good, that aren't just Gunner skins. And again, I don't care, but my issue is when I'm at work and I want to tell a friend, hey, I played this game over the weekend. It's called Eternal Return. The first thing they're going to see is this, and they're going to think to themselves, man, this guy's a bit of a perv. But anyways, with the bunny girl theming, they actually changed up the map just a little bit. In Hotel, where the bunny girl casino is located underneath, they made some changes aesthetically to the map, which for me, I don't think we've had changes like this since the snow map, but I thought it was really cool. I would even take it a step further and say, hey, Hotel this season, you should just name it Casino and just redo the entire zone. I think that would be excellent. I think if they did that for 3 or 4 zones every season, the season would feel a lot different. It would feel a lot more unique. You'd remember, hey, remember season 2? It had this zone, this zone, this zone, and it would change things up more. And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the gameplay changes that they made. They're adding a bunch of new gimmicks or mechanics that you can interact with every season. Like a few seasons ago, they added Lumi, the robot that you can buy and sell items for. I think that was really well received. Then they added the cubes, which don't really do much for the story or for the island fantasy, but they give you a power-up, which personally I think were kind of a dumb inclusion. And they've added a bunch of little stuff like that. And this season, there's a pink mist that shows up. A bunch of mutant animals spawn, you can farm through them. I'm pretty neutral about it. I think if they spent less time doing these kind of things and more time on the aesthetics of the map, I would be a lot more interested. But again, that's just my opinion. But yeah, as I was playing, at the end of the day, it's Eternal Return. The core gameplay is the same. The new gadgets and the new mechanics are great, but it again feels very samey. But that was just playing the characters I knew. There had been a whole slew of new characters that had come out since I last was into the game. And while a lot of the new characters were really cool, I found one that I really liked, Justina. And again, they release 2 characters every season. Like there's going to be a character released in a couple of days too. And I think if you're returning to the game, there's bound to be a character that you're going to want to play and you're going to want to get better at, which is exciting and what really drew me into the game the first time. I found Adriana and I really liked that character, and it was fun watching myself improve and grow with the character. And I think gameplay-wise, all of these characters that I tried out, they felt really good. They felt clean. Some of them were a little complicated. Some of them were actually easier than I thought they would be. Aesthetically, I think some of them are super cool. I like Justina a whole lot. I liked Lenore when she came out. I really lean towards more of the colorful characters. Eternal Return, and I think just their player base in general, likes the more washed out look, the grays, the blacks, the whites, like the more grayscale kind of look to them. And that's not something I'm into. But anyways, if you're coming back to try it, you want to return, you might want to play some ranked. And while we talked about the player base being pretty good, the only way is to test it. When is rank going to pop? I queued ranked at maybe 4 o'clock EST, and I had no luck. I queued for a half hour, couldn't get a game. Not even close to getting a game. So I wait another 2 hours, 6 p.m. EST, I get a game within 10 minutes. Eternal Returns added a lot of bots in the game, and with that being said, more advanced bots. So I could have gotten bots in these ranked games, which I suspect I might have, but it still felt like a good game. It felt like a competitive game. And again, getting into a game with some bots and then some real players is better than not getting into a game at all. And at the end of the day, I'm still ranking up. And one thing that ties into the ranked experience is the community. If you've ever played League of Legends, you can say that definitely makes or breaks the ranked experience, whether you get someone who's flaming you that game or just toxic in general. And right about when I stopped playing, I was actually doing a Jackie Iron to Mithril challenge for a video. And Jackie Joestar hit Mithril. But because at the time Jackie was considered one of the worst characters in the game, which is why I was making the video, I was making mistakes on the character, and it was just weak in general. And most games I was getting flamed in the higher elo, and it felt like Eternal Return was getting closer and closer to the League of Legends community. I even put out a tweet complaining about this issue, since in solos I never had to worry about this. But when I played this season, I got nothing but love. Just logging on, I'd get like 3 or 4 messages like, hey man, glad to see you're on, good that you're alive, good playing with you. So shout out to all the people in the community that recognized me and were happy that I was back playing and sent kind messages. While there's plenty of unpleasant people in the game, I think if you can just mute them and move on, you can have a really good experience. And the last experience I want to talk about is the new player experience. One of my most popular videos is the new player experience. And I think the worst thing that Eternal Return has had is a tutorial, a bad tutorial. But I played through the tutorial once again, and it was really good. You have Hana, the research assistant, who is actually giving you bits of lore and kind of thematically guiding you through the tutorial. It leaves little up to your imagination. You really just walks you through a game start to finish. I was really impressed. I tried to do things to even break the tutorial. Like I tried to drag items out of my inventory because I know some new players lose items then are just shit out of luck, but it doesn't let you do that, so it keeps you on track. I tried to stay in the red zone too long, so I blew up. It doesn't let you blow up, but once you leave, it explains everything. There's a few nitpicky things, like you can just walk past animals and not farm them, and that probably gets you into a bad habit for the game since you're definitely farming everything on your pathing. And then things like, hey, enemies' pings, they look like this. I'd like them to say why they're pinging. What makes that ping so players can avoid that, but that might be too lost in the sauce. There is going to be an advanced tutorial coming out, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I think this is huge for new players and anyone trying to get your friends into the game. And of course with that, they added new challenges for these players that will essentially get you resources to buy characters that you think look cool. And as always, monetization has never been an issue in this game. I think they probably have some of the best. They've added a ton of new currencies since I came back, which makes the shop super confusing. But at the end of the day, if we are buying only skins and then everything can be unlocked by just playing the game, I'm super happy with that. So enough rambling, let's answer the question. Should you return to Eternal Return? If you haven't played in a while, I'd say yes. Check out the collabs, the new characters, and even the new mechanics. It's free and there's nothing to lose. If you really click with the new character, I think you could have a lot of fun learning their ins and outs and seeing yourself fly through the ranks. I think that's one thing I've always enjoyed in Eternal Return is learning a new character and ranking up with them. Although I see that a lot less with squads than I did solos, I still think that is one of the best experiences with Eternal Return. On the other side, if you've probably played thousands of hours in this game like I did, and you're looking for a brand new experience, each season feels very similar to the last. There are the new mechanics, there are the new skins, but Lumia Island stays the same. So I'm not going to make any grandiose promises like this game is going to be completely different this time around, but you might be able to find something new that you enjoy. I'm going to be a bit self-absorbed now and talk about me and the channel for the rest of the video. So thank you for stopping by if you just cared about what's new with Eternal Return. I'm going to talk about Adritoma. Now, for everyone else, you might have noticed I haven't uploaded since Season 4. I've seen speculation on why I quit, but here's the truth. It was a combination of things. The first thing is removing solos. I did not love coming home from a long day of work to play my favorite game, to have to boot up into a team of randos with little Timmy flaming me for X, Y, and Z. But that wasn't really a big part of it. A big thing was I felt like my favorite videos I made for Eternal Return worked really well for solos, but not squads. Like my video on how it took 100 games to get my first IREM win, I can't make that in squads. I play a new character on the first day, you're going to essentially just win in a couple of games and be done. It also took away a lot of the learning that I enjoyed with these characters and a lot of the challenges that I would do. And yes, they brought back solos for a game mode, but it was essentially dead in NA when I tried to play. I could not pop a game. I could have done a custom lobby, but I did not feel like organizing that. I was even willing to fight through how bad Adri was with her modern kit. And now an equally big reason to the removal of solos was a big shift in the streaming and content landscape for Eternal Return outside of Korea, aka it felt like no one wanted to do cool shit. All of the events we had years ago were no longer a thing outside of Korea since Nimble Neuron dropped their partnership with Kakao and Genji. Probably not bad business moves, but as one of the bigger YouTubers and streamers for Eternal Return, the only thing I looked forward to was getting the NP codes to give to viewers every month. And my favorite memories from Eternal Return isn't hitting a rank or winning a game. It was playing with Bao in the charity tournament, or when Genji got us all together for Dallas DreamHacks for an event. And I enjoy that sense of community and camaraderie of all liking the same game. You can have that online, but it just doesn't really feel the same. And I didn't just decide to leave one day. I kept looking for cool videos to make with the game, but nothing really inspired me. I'd hit a viewership ceiling in Eternal Return. My copium for the longest time was I just had to break outside the algorithm. And how it works is there's a bubble of viewers for a video that it's sent off to, and at first, it's just your subscribers. If your subs liked it, the video is sent to anyone interested in Eternal Return. And then if the broad ER audience liked it, it's sent to people who just like gaming in general. And I've had a couple of videos where it hit that gaming in general bubble where I have comments saying that is how they found the game. And this is a bit egotistical, but for a bit, my goal was to grow my channel to the point where every video hit that algorithm in a big way and I could bring players to NA. So when that didn't happen, obviously, I was pretty bummed out. And after 2 seasons of not making anything, I was removed from Eternal Return's partner program, which kind of got me thinking. I've seen a lot of people pivot to games and just fall flat, but I was really proud of the videos I make, and maybe that wouldn't happen to me. It's never been all about the views. This is definitely a hobby of mine, but it would be cool to turn this hobby into a job one day. And even if I never get there, it's fun to have that as a goal. So on a whim, one day, I make videos for another game. I play a game called Marvel Snap, which is a Marvel-themed digital card game, so I started a new non-Eternal Return channel. The channel was called Adritoma. Adritoma originally was Adriana plus Tom, my name, and everyone pronounced it Adritoma instead of Adritoma. So I just rolled with it. I loved that name. And I kept the Toma and just added my favorite Marvel character into it, Loki. And it was exciting. I didn't tell a soul that I was starting this channel and making these videos. I started from scratch, 0 subs, 0 viewers, and I started uploading and it was slow, but the numbers started to pick up. People started to watch, people started to comment, telling me they liked how the storytelling was with the game. And after about 2 months, I got burnt out. The nature of making Marvel Snap content is really tough. I put out 30 videos in 2 months, which was crazy, but they all took a long time to edit, which is why you don't see many other Snap creators doing that. They release 6 to 8 cards a month, which each new video essentially needed to cover. The content wasn't evergreen either, because cards got updated and changed, and a lot of the videos had short lifespans, which I hated. Also, the devs weren't good people to work with. I got into the creator program by like a mile, and it took a month for them to approve it. And when I was finally accepted, I stopped making videos. Eternal Return's team is a lot better. I think their heart is in the right place, but can be a bit clueless sometimes, while Marvel Snap team is pretty predatory when it comes to monetization and makes greedy decisions that doesn't respect their players. So after 2 months, I left. And I made another channel. I am a bit of a deadbeat dad of YouTube channels. So I needed a game that had plenty of IRL events, and a lot of ways to interact with the community. It needed enough NA viewers where I could have the end goal of making my hobby into a career one day. And most importantly, I needed to have passion about the game and making videos around it. Before Adritoma, I actually had another channel called The Clark Knight, where I put out horrendously bad videos, but it was a channel where I tried everything from Overwatch to indie games to even stuff outside of gaming. But what I found I liked the most was Pokemon. I grew up with the game, and in the same way many adults are Disney adults, I consider myself a Pokemon adult. But the issue at the time with the Clark Knight is that Pokemon is probably the most popular video game brand in history. So although there's a huge audience, it's incredibly oversaturated, where maybe 1 or 2 Eternal Return videos are posted in a week. I'm competing with like 1,000 videos in a day. So it's incredibly tough. So that's why the Clark Knight didn't really take off. But I wanted to give it another go now that I am better at making videos. That's when Polytoma was born. Politoed is my favorite Pokemon, if you couldn't tell, and I slapped on the Toma. So the first video I made was catching every Team Rocket Pokemon as a shiny. This video took about 4 months to make and maybe got 100 views on release, but I was hooked. I had so much fun and knew this was something I wanted to stick with, so throughout 2025, I made Pokemon videos until Pokemon Legends Z8 came out. That's where my channel went from like 300 subs in 7 months to like 4K after 1. And if you're interested in this channel, I'd suggest watching either the Beating Pokemon Y with only Shinies video or my Trubbish only playthrough of Legend ZA. I'm proud of both of these, and again, I'm in no way doing this full time or even close, but this has been a fun use of my time and some of the most fun I've had making videos. And this video isn't just me trying to self-promote the stuff I'm working on now. I would have done that probably a year and a half ago when I first started making the channel, if that was the case. I just wanted to let everyone in the Eternal Return crowd know what I'm up to. And while I'm excited for the future of this Pokemon channel, I don't expect you all to be as well. That's why I didn't really tell anyone up until now, and I don't want this video to come off as me just plugging my new stuff. But I did want to update you all on what I've been up to. And if you still want to comment on a video of mine or hop into my new Twitch chat, don't be a stranger. I genuinely love the Eternal Return community, and I miss it very often. And I have so many cool things that I am looking forward to creating. So with that all said, is this the last Adritoma video? Honest answer is, I don't know. I will never private any videos or shut down the channel because I love the option of one day coming back. If Eternal Return made big changes that really inspired me, or I just got the itch one day to return to the channel, I could definitely see myself wanting to make videos again. But I can't promise if that's going to be next week, next month, next year, or whatever it may be. But for now, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Eternal Return in the hopes one day I will make my return. So again, thank you for watching. All your support has meant so much. Thank you.